So here I am on Sullivan's Island and I'm harvesting wax myrtle berries to make a candle, and it's beautiful. It's a sunset. Look at this. Ooh. This is such a good thing to do during the fall, to make a wax myrtle candle and to make one for Christmas because they're known as a Christmas candle. All right, let's go see the wax myrtle. There are mosquitoes everywhere. So I'm harvesting the berries off of her and it's quite late. But all you do is you pull the berries off, and then I have a basket down here, and I'm just pulling the berries off and harvesting her fruits to make the candle. So it's a good way to connect with nature. So Jeff Jackson and I harvested around 2 to 3 pounds of wax myrtle fruit. You want to harvest at least 4 cups. And remove the fruit from the branches while you're out in the field. As soon as you get home with the fruit, okay, or the next day, or within 2 to 3 days, I want you to make the candle. So I learned the hard way when I dried the fruit, and I let it dry for a year, or I stored it for a year, and I made the candles, and it barely yielded any wax. And so you want to make the candle right away, and you want to add it to stainless steel. So you want to add the fruit to a stainless steel pot that you don't mind getting wax on. So I dedicated this pot to candle making. And then you add the fruit and you cover. So I added 6 cups of fruit, okay? And then I poured water over the fruit until it was covered at least several inches. Once you have several inches of water over the fruit, I want you to put it on the stove and bring it to a boil, okay? And you want to let it boil for at least 10 minutes. I did 30 minutes. If you're doing this over an open fire, you could experiment and let it boil longer. It didn't seem like I was yielding or getting much more wax after about 25-30 minutes. So I did stir it a little bit, but you want to be careful not to disturb the wax. So here's a little video of me where I'm like stirring and mashing the fruit, and it got on the ladle. You have to see something. Look at my hand. That's wax myrtle wax. And so I just stirred the pot, the berries that I'm making the wax in, and the wax got on the ladle, and then I cleaned off the ladle and it got on my hand. And so the fresh berries are making a lot. Look at that. I am beyond excited and had a ton of fun out in the field. Thank you, Jeff Jackson, for showing me the beautiful mother bush. And so when your friends help you out, good things happen, right? Look at this. So here's from fresh, and here's from dry. So you can see the difference, huge difference. Look at all of that wax on the field. All berries. Fresh berries. If you're like me, you're gonna get really, really excited. And this is a cool image because you can see how on my spoon it dried, the wax dried, and there's a little berry stuck in the middle. So now you're gonna see footage of me first thing in the morning. It sitting on the stovetop overnight, and I came down at 4 a.m. It's first thing in the morning. Everybody's asleep. Look at this. But I was like a little kid. I had to come down here. Look at this. It smells so good. So I'm gonna get a scoopy. I'm not an expert at removing the wax, but I did try the spatula, which worked really well, and I tried a ladle with holes in it, which worked really well, and I tried cheesecloth, which you'll see. So I have strained some of this liquid off, and there is wax now on top of this cheesecloth, and so you can see wax myrtle wax is very brittle, and so I'm actually going to use a spoon, and I'm gonna put it into this wooden jar where I'm saving it. So here is what the wax looked like. I didn't get big, thick chunks of it. Very brittle, but it's okay because I did read some historical texts and it talked about adding grease to it or adding a different substance to help it set up. And so I added beeswax to mine. Don't worry too much about the wax being brittle because you're going to double boil it and refine it. So here is a nice tool that I have that I use to double boil that my friend Jen Gibson gave me, and that is what I used, and you'll see in the following video clips. So I ended up doing 1 part wax myrtle wax to 1 part beeswax because, as I showed you, it's very brittle, and this really helped it set up. And so it did not, what I ended up using did not make a full candle. So then I had to use a little bit more of the wax that I created from the wax myrtle. I had to melt it down. I was actually trying to squirrel some away to play with. But anyway, so I had to melt more down to fill up this 1 candle, because I feel like just having 1 wax myrtle candle is definitely worth all the effort and so much fun to do during the holidays. So anyhow, I hope you give it a try. Okay, here are a couple things to remember. Fall is the time to make a candle. Use the fruit fresh. Boil the fruit with at least several inches of water covering the fruit. Boil for 10 to 30 minutes. Turn off the heat, leave overnight, and then harvest the wax in the morning, and then double boil it to refine it and to make your candle. Are you ready to light it? I'm so excited. Here we go. Wax myrtle candle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really hope you make a candle, and definitely stay connected if you want to learn more and new ways of how to connect with the native plants for food, medicine, and crafts. I would love it if you subscribed or follow us on Instagram. I'm always going to share free content with you. Be well.